Hello and welcome back to Spekd. Today we'll be looking at the Warhammer Conquest issue number 6. And what I want to say is right away, I had been waiting for this for a very long time, and it turned up today in a bundle delivery with issues 3, 4, 5 and 6. I am happy about it, not going to be mad, I'm glad it's finally here. But let's have a closer look, let's make a start. And the first thing I want to say is these models are exactly the same which was on the second issue with the Death Guard, and that's fine because we'll utilise those in a moment. I'll show you how. But to start with, price is still $7.99. Does this have value for money? Well, if you got 2 copies of the second issue, you would have got the sprues, the magazine, and the game mat. If you remember back, I think it was for like $4.99 or $3.99, one of the two. So yeah, more information on Death Guard. I feel that this should have been in that same magazine. I mean, they don't always have to have the same amount of info in each one for each topic. They could separate it out, but as always, some beautiful artwork. A little bit lore, history, commands, situation there, and more colour schemes, which is really good. They got the breakdown of the company setup and the Legion setup, and that's really nice. So if you are expanding past this, you can go ahead and pick up your additional models. Now, I would say before you go ahead and start saying, okay, investing like £500–600 in a whole heap of models that you might not know too well, is to start with Kill Team. Okay, and if you've got on the magazines I suggested, issues 1 through 4, with 2 copies of issue 2, 2 copies of issue 1, you will have enough points to play a Kill Team game, and all you need to do is buy the book. Okay, so let's have a look. More organisation, organisational charts, more colours. Again, I think this could have just been in the second issue, all the colours. So you could just enjoy them, because if you're already committed to colouring up your models, it's a bit late now. Then again, you can always go back and touch them up. Building the Marines, as before. Painting. I feel like they could have added additional paint with this actual issue, but they didn't, and the choice is really up to them. Again, this is the same as before, except it's like they consolidated all the colours that we used before, which were separated over multiple magazines, into one. Okay, so the warfare section is revised. So now this has become more like the 40k version. Sorry, there's bouncing the camera. This has become more like the actual full game of Warhammer 40k. So we have things like multiple units attacking multiple targets, going through the phases. Now, if you do go into Kill Team, it is slightly different, where they kind of combine the movement and charge phase together from both teams. So rather than you take all your moves, then you go into shooting phase, it's a combination of both opponents take moves one after the other. But anyway, split fire. That's actually quite important. Splitting between targets. It's a really handy rule to know. A lot of people tend to forget this even in the main game. They'll focus fire on one thing and then forget that they can have a few pot shots at something else, which could be just as important. Charge phases. Again, they are utilising the same mat. I think by now you've kind of got on board with this mat. I know we have been adding additional things to it to make it more lively, to make it look a bit better. But again, it's well worth, if you've been building along, you'll have a little variation with that. And I am actually working on a project which will be coming up 1st of November, which will change it quite a bit. So stay tuned. Right, we have the stats charts here for each model, which we've seen before. I think at this point, again, I mean, this is really good if you're first starting out, but I think it's well worth at this point explaining the character, or explaining the toughness values versus the damage values. So, you know, if your character has got a damage weapon, which is, or the strength of the weapon is higher than the character's toughness, then they need to roll less on the 6-sided dice. They really could have included that at this point, because you are pretty much 5 weeks in, or 6 weeks in, sorry. So you would have seen a bit more, and if you are playing with a friend or a buddy, you know, you want to know the game a bit more. Okay, so we've got additional rules there for rapid fire, 2-shot weapons, and that kind of play. Am I disappointed you got these exact same models? They could have posed them different, at least. You know, but again, it doesn't matter too much. You could put these models straight into the kill team, which I'll be discussing in my next video. So, and before I say anything else, the kill team does cost about £20. The book itself, it's well worth it, and you can really utilise all the models that you've gotten from Warhammer Conquest, which you see here. I'll explain that in a bit more later. I will say with this, these next future issues, it works out long-term value for money. Okay, fair enough. But do you have to wait that long to buy these washes, where you could just buy them directly out of the shop? The Primaris model Librarian, it is worth waiting for. Again, value for money, but I don't know. I think they've dropped the ball a bit on this. Anyway. So that's the Conquest magazine. As I said, the only thing to extract from this at the minute, this particular issue, especially if you already got the second issue, is the fact that you could just run a kill team game using the models that you already have. And that's the only addition I would add to this. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. And if you see any other way to improve this, please drop it down below in the comments. I'd like to remind you that there is a narrative-based competition, which is running till the 1st of November, where I will be looking at the bases that people send in. Not the actual bases, but the pictures. And then we'll be going through them, making sure that they're suitable, or, you know, how good they look, and we'll be grading them, see who wins. But I like to see people's work. So, appreciate your time. Hear from you again soon. Take care. This has been Spekd. PC out.